Hey everyone, it's Juan Torres here, CEO of GoTo Mortgage Solutions, and today I have a special guest with me, Francisco Galdames. He's an agent at Century 21. We're going to be talking about the 4 reasons why it's a great time to buy in today's market. So Francisco, take it away, brother.
Thank you guys. Thank you, Juan, for this opportunity. So this is for you buyers. Number 1, you have options now. Options. What do I mean by that? During the pandemic, for every home that was for sale, there was 15, 20, 30 buyers. Now it's the opposite. For every one buyer that's out there in the market, okay, that wants to take advantage of this opportunity, he has 10, 15, 20 homes to choose from. So now you have all the options.
There's no worse feeling than feeling you're forced to buy something
You don't like.
you didn't like.
I love that.
So now I feel like a kid walking into a candy store. Now I've got options, right? Where before it wasn't like that.
Yeah.
So I'm great that we're back to reality.
Yes, because now you have a lot to choose from, right? You're a kid in a candy store, right? So with that comes, now buyers have most of the negotiating power during escrow, okay? What do I mean by that? Well, now you can negotiate price, you can negotiate closing cost, you can negotiate repairs, you can negotiate credit, right? You can even negotiate. There's a thing now called a 2-1 buy down, okay? And I'm gonna let Juan explain more what the 2-1 buy down is.
What that means is that you're buying a house at whatever the property is being sold at, right? And let's just say that the going rate is a 6%. So a 2-1 buy down means that for the first year, your 6% interest rate will be reduced by 2%. Which means that for the first 12 months or the first year, your payment will be based off of a 4% interest rate. On the second year, your interest rate will decline by 1%. So remember, it started at 6 minus 1. That means that your interest rate is at 5%. So your payments for the next 12 months are at 5%. And then on the third year, well, your payment adjusts to the 6% interest rate that your loan officer locked you in. So I like to see these, Francisco, as a introductory to homeownership. You know the best part of this is that the seller pays for all of this.
Yes.
That's the best part of this. So see it as free money.
Right.
So it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer, buyers. So in recap, so not only can you negotiate the price, not only can you negotiate some closing costs, not only can you negotiate some credit for some repairs, but on top of that, the seller can even help you and pay so you can get a lower interest rate and a lower mortgage the first 2 years. That's amazing. This did not happen during the pandemic, so now take advantage. Reason number 3 is no more money above appraisal, buyers. That's pretty much not happening anymore, right? I haven't heard that in a while. So no more money above appraisal. What does that mean? During the pandemic, I had to meet with certain buyers and unfortunately ask them, hey, do you have money for down payment? Yes. Do you have the money for closing costs? No. And I was like, this is kind of not your time right now. Because back then, a buyer not only needed the down payment, the closing costs, but even extra money to put above appraisal value. Not anymore, buyers. Now, if anything, there's a lot of programs out there to help you with down payment, to help you with closing costs, and you don't have to put a single penny above appraisal. That's reason number 3.
Man, this previous market really put you guys in a tough position. So imagine, so you're a buyer, right? And you know that when you want to buy a house, you know you need money for your down payment,
right?
And you need money for your closing costs. Okay. So imagine you meeting a buyer and you ask them, okay, Mr. Buyer, do you have money for your down payment? Yes. Yeah. Okay, checks off. Do you have money for your closing costs? Checks off. Okay, do you have money to pay over the listed price?
No.
No, right? So
that happened a lot.
It must have put you in a very tough position. It's a tough conversation. But that was just the reality, right? That's the market that we were in. And I remember having conversations, Francisco, with borrowers where that was the situation. And the question was, if that's the case, why do I have to get an appraisal, right? The appraisal is the only collateral piece that the bank has against the property. So it's a requirement regardless of you paying
from
above.
the bank, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So regardless, even if you were paying above the listed price, it was a requirement.
So thank you, Juan. That's perfect. So number 4, the last reason why buyers, this is the time right now, okay, is you have protection. You have all the protection now. What do I mean? And you know, I can't help but comparing things, you know, during the pandemic, but that is where we're coming from. That is where a lot of buyers try to buy and they couldn't, right? And then now may be your perfect time. So what do I mean by protection? Well, we all know what contingencies are, right? So contingencies like for the inspection contingency, the appraisal contingency, the loan contingency. Back then, buyers not only, they couldn't negotiate anything, buyers couldn't even dare to ask for a price reduction, don't even dare ask me for repairs, don't even dare ask me for closing costs, right? On top of that, don't even dare to have a lot of contingencies. You had to remove 2 at least of all 3, you know? And there was instances where sometimes you had to remove all your protection, all your contingencies, and the contingencies are placed to protect the buyer. In fact, not a lot of people know, but the most protective client in an escrow is the buyer. The buyer has the most protection during an escrow. And so back then you couldn't have a lot of protection, but now you don't have to remove your protections. You don't have to remove your contingencies. You can have your inspection. You can still negotiate repairs. You can have your appraisal. You can have your loan contingency. Especially when you're working someone as experienced as Juan, you know, I'm sure he gets it done quick, but it's still, it's a level of protection that you as a buyer have. So you have a lot of protection if you do business right now.
Which is why it is a great time to buy now. You're not paying above asking price.
Right.
You're getting an appraisal.
Right.
You're paying at what the property comes in.
Right.
So let's just say if the property were to come in short, what are the likelihoods of the seller negotiating the new value?
Oh, 99.99%.
Okay.
And especially if it's a seller that's motivated, he has to sell.
Right.
You know?
So now you have the appraisal where,
Right.
hey, Mr. Seller, your property is worth this, or hey, Mr. Seller, your property is worth actually $10,000 less than what the
Right.
buyer agreed to buy it.
Right.
Right. And then on top of that, you have your loan contingency. Then on top of that, you have your inspection contingency. It gives us a peace of mind to both the buyers, the buyer's agents, and everybody involved in the transaction, wouldn't you say?
100% agree. Buyers take advantage of the opportunities right now being given to you, especially the buyers that couldn't get in before during the pandemic. Now it's your time. Thank you so much for watching, guys.